Hi, welcome to the first lesson of the second week of the Watcher course. Let's get busy. We're going to see a little more in depth about how apps and websites work. What's in the agenda? We're going to understand apps and digital platforms, how they deliver content, the concept of user account, and best practices. So, understanding apps, websites, and digital platforms. We remember that websites are pages that we access using a web browser on any sort of internet-connected device. Okay? The web browser itself is an app. So once you have that specific app is short for application, which is also called a program. So once you have this web browser installed on any device with a connection to the internet, whether it's a smartphone, a tablet, a computer, a notebook, you can navigate all the web pages, many different addresses on the internet, okay? An app is something that you download and install on your device. So for every app that you want to use, you have to download it and install it. And apps have very specific uses. So different apps, different uses. What's a digital platform then? Right? When you see this, all these apps, Gmail, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, they're apps. No, they are digital platforms. Why? Because digital platforms are the same whether they are visited through a web page on a web browser or you're using them on an app. And that's the difference between a digital platform, an app, and a website. So they keep the same experience. It doesn't matter if you're opening it directly on the app or if you're opening them on a web browser. Okay? How do apps and digital platforms deliver content? Well, they are constantly exchanging data between your device and their servers. Okay? And they are designed for specific purposes. So YouTube is designed for video watching, right? And Spotify for music and podcasts, hearing, listening, right? And some of them may run in the background. So you may think you stopped using them, but they are open in the background and they are consuming resources and exchanging data even without you using the app itself. Now let's go into user account. What's a user account? It's your digital identity, right? So when you create a user account on an app or on a website or on a digital platform, you are creating your own ID. You're providing some information that will let that system recognize you once you access it and use it over and over. And the two main components of creating a user account are the name and the password, right? Which is the information you're going to use to identify with that account in that digital platform or app or website. And why are user accounts used? Because they let you personalize your usage of the platform. And then it doesn't matter if you're using an app or if you're using the website. Once you use that same account, you will have the same information everywhere. In all of the devices, doesn't matter if you're using a tablet, a smartphone, or a notebook, okay? Also, the user account can be used to verify age restrictions and security. So it can limit the content or the functionalities that are available to that specific user on that application, on that app, or on the website. So that's why they are important, right? So now you're understanding Why user accounts are important for child safety. First, age gating. Depending on the application or on the platform, some of them will not let children use them. So one example of this is social networks. They are not recommended, and they will not let you create a user account for a child that is under 13, okay? Also, they let you configure and restrict some privacy settings which will not allow others, strangers, people you don't know, to see your child's information, for instance, right? Or to interact with them, okay? They also filter content according to your child's age, like YouTube and YouTube Kids, okay? And you can also restrict who can talk to your child depending on the settings on your user account, right? So it will not allow exchanging of messaging or comments or even live chat features. What are some of the best practices for app and platform use? First, always use the official App Store, okay? Don't download and install apps, games, or anything that is not from the Google Play or from the App Store or from Microsoft apps, from the Microsoft Store or from the PlayStation Store. Those are just examples, right? Every single device or console, they have their official App Store. That's what you should always use. It doesn't matter if your child is asking to use something because a friend is using or somebody else said it's fine, it's not, okay? But maybe an exception to this is that if your school has developed a specific application or something like that and is making it available on their servers. But this would be a very specific case, and even then you should be very careful because that's a different gateway, a different means of entrance for malicious software to enter your devices. So as a rule of thumb, ideally only use official app stores. Review before installation, right? So when your child asks you to install something, install it on your device first, use it, configure it, and learn about the privacy settings, the security settings, and the age restriction settings, right? And then you can install it on their device. Also, understand permissions, right? Some apps will require an insane amount of permissions. And as you can see in this example, I think this app is asking for every single permission available on a device. So if you think, and this is according to everyone's common sense and good judgment, if you think it's asking for too much, just deny it, and if the app doesn't install because of that, then we will come to the last best practice, which is discuss it with your child, right? Because you want to educate your child so that she develops this critical thinking about why is this, I just want to play a game. Why is it asking to use my camera and my microphone? There is absolutely no voice chatting or any sort of messaging involved in playing this game. So if it's asking for that and that's completely unnecessary, then you shouldn't install it if it doesn't run without those permissions, right? And by showing those to your child and asking her about the permissions that the application is requiring, you are starting to teach her about how the best practices on installing apps on their devices are, okay? So that's it for this lesson. It's a kind of short one, but important, and it's laying the foundation for the next lessons. So reviewing what we saw here, now we know what digital platforms are. We understand the difference between apps and digital platforms, and we understand how they serve content. And we understand how user accounts are used for that and their importance, and how they let us personalize and start protecting our children when configuring them. And we understand some of the best practices. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And the full content and additional resources are always made available on our community. So if you're not part of our community, make sure you visit us on School and join the community. The community is free. I'll see you in the next class. Bye-bye.